Hi, Mr. Gowerluck here. In fifth grade, science is the topic of the day. It's time to talk about renewable and non-renewable resources. You know, those things that we think about when we don't think about them, like cups or plates or soap or any of the things we use on a daily basis, even our clothing, our hats, our cars, computers, your Chromebook that you're watching this on. Some of those things that you are thinking about right now are made out of non-renewable resources, which means that we can't get the materials back very quickly, if at all. And some of them are made out of renewable resources, which is great because you know that you can continually get those things that help make them or the energy needed to make those items quickly. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means, renewable versus non-renewable resources. So in renewable resources, we will use the sun to be able to help us power things, or wind. And some of the things that you might not have thought about might be moving water. That's why you might hear of like a dam or something like that. They generally have a turbine that is moved by moving water that runs other parts and keeps things moving within a factory or creating electricity. And then another part you may not have thought much about, but then again you may have, is geothermal heat. And down here on that bottom picture, geothermal heat is something that, well, there is a constant kind of temperature. If you were to dig low enough or dig down into the earth enough, you would notice that the temperature is between that 50 and 60 degree mark pretty much all the time, whether it's very hot or very cold on the surface. And if you can tap into that heat down there, it can give you a real good head start on keeping things like your water or the home heating that you have. At least give it a nice head start so that you don't have to, your house doesn't have to work so hard to make sure that it stays at a nice temperature for you, or the water is heated so that you can, have a bath or a shower that won't make you freeze. So renewable resources, we don't run out of them, and they're easily replaced. Non-renewable resources are obviously the opposite of that. Gasoline, we use it one time, and then it gives off a carbon dioxide kind of footprint through chemicals out the exhaust pipe. Plastic that we use for water bottles and pop and things like that, or cups, or in our computers. And then there's also chemicals within the batteries in our computers, or the hard drive, and all these parts down here that are non-renewable. And you have them right now in your Chromebook. And then we wonder, trees, are they renewable or non-renewable? Because I can plant another tree when I cut one down. Well, that's true. You have to wait a while to be able to use the tree. And this little tree farm is an example of that. Now, it might have had very tall trees at one point, which is great. And they were used for wood, which makes houses or can help make dressers and shelving and things like that. Builds parts of your homes and separates your rooms, all those kinds of things. But that tree does not grow very quickly back. You need to give it time so that the tree can grow as tall as it once was, or the tree before it once was, so that you're able to reap the benefits of having that tree again. So it does not happen overnight. It doesn't happen quickly. So trees are considered non-renewable, although in 40, 50, 60 years, yes, you can get another tree coming back. That is right. So how can our actions affect our environment? Well, obviously, there are some negative things you can do. We all have seen them. We've heard them. You have different kinds of pollution, from the type of pollution that affects your breathing to the type of pollution that affects what you hear. They call that noise pollution. There's also light pollution. There's a pollution that keeps you from being able to see, say, some of the night stars and things like that, because there's so much lighting in the cities that they don't have out in the countries, or countries, out in the country areas. And so that is something that you'd have to consider as a form of pollution. And our environment and what we do in the environment can negatively affect that. Positives, well, also we can obviously make sure we pick up after ourselves, try to use things more than once, reduce our carbon footprint, as they would say. Again, look for renewable sources of energy to power things. And so if you're able to do that, you're able to help us continue to move forward in our time with the environment and making sure that there's enough out there for everyone to sustain the kind of life that they want to be able to live. Well, that's it for science for today. Thanks for joining me today. I know this is incredibly exciting, and I don't have any pollution jokes or any type of jokes in any way, shape, or form when it comes to new renewable or non-renewable energy. But if you have some, please share with me so that I can talk about them next time. All right. Thank you very much. And that is all for today.